Word is, today of all days.
What?
Huh? What?
Well, either they woke up this morning and suddenly decided they'd lost all... Exactly. Are you wondering if your brother might be in cahoots with the Fatui? Which is why I asked, are you absolutely sure your brother took the relic? Or to put it another way, do you really know your brother?
In other words, it's highly likely that the Fatui...
So, basically, all we need to do is find our way into that Fatui research facility, and we should be able to get to the bottom of this, right?
Congratulations, you've found your answer. Looks like the curatorium won't need to lift a finger this time. Well, Lauma, there we are. On behalf of our long-standing cooperation and the great hero by your side, I'll waive your consultation fee. But just...
You're really not planning on helping us?
I think I've helped more than enough already.
If we're to stand any chance of infiltrating that facility, we'll need the help of a specialist.
Just so you don't get the wrong idea, let me make myself crystal clear. The Curatorium of Secrets has always striven to abide by a policy of strict neutrality. We do not take sides with any faction in Nodcry. I cannot help the leader of the Frostmoon Scions sneak into a Fatui facility. That would make me their enemy. When one of their harbingers asked me to help them infiltrate your territory, I gave them the same answer. No.
All right. I understand. But I do have one final request. I promise it's my last.
It had better be.
No matter who it is, I want you to help us persuade the next person who walks through that door to join us.
What is she up to? You're that desperate for help? What if it's a member of the Fatui?
It doesn't matter. You're welcome to tell them everything, even about our plans to infiltrate the Experimental Design Bureau. All I'm asking is for you to say one thing, just one thing to help persuade them. Made up your mind?
Fine. I'll play along with your little game. Besides, as long as I'm not personally involved, no one can accuse us of taking sides.
Boss, I'm back! You won't believe the luck I've been having today! Remember you sent me to find that runaway cat, yeah? And you said I'd only be back after dark? Well, guess what? Right after I left the house, this big ibis flew over and the missing cat was right in its claws! And once it got close, it loosened its grip and... Boss, you're meeting clients. I'm so sorry. I'll get out of your way.
Yehoda, dear, come here.
Huh? Me? Is something the matter? Oh,
My dear Yehoda, I have a request.
Yikes! Why does the boss sound so scary? Did I do something wrong?
Would you be so kind as to accompany these 3 delightful clients of ours and help them infiltrate the Fatui's Kuvaki experimental design?
What is going on here? Boss usually just says things like, hey, go do this, or you, go take care of that. Why is she being so... And wait a sec. The Fatui's research facility? That's basically a death sentence.
Made your mind up yet, my dear?
What is up with Boss today? Am I supposed to say yes to this? Or maybe it's because the mission's too risky? Why is everyone looking at me like that? Is this some kind of test? I can't let the boss down. Can I?
Have you made up your mind?
Really? You really don't mind helping us?
Huh? Oh, yes.
Oh, thanks so much!
On behalf of the Frost Moon Scions, too, thank you, Yehoda, for your help.
What the? Seriously? What just happened? Why does the boss look so fed up? Oh no.
All that mentoring, time spent teaching her how to deal with different factions. In one ear and out the other.
Nefer,
You got what you wanted. You promised that was it.
I know this goes against your principles. I won't...
Trying to get me to change my mind now?
Of course not. I just... So... Thank you. Yehoda, we'll leave the planning to you. Let's discuss the details elsewhere.
Huh? Oh, okay. What have I gotten myself into?
Oh, by the way, Yehoda, before you go,
What is it, boss?
you're fired.
Huh?
Effective immediately. As in, this exact moment. The curatorium will take you back, of course, but only once you've completed this commission for our 3 clients.
What?
Is there some issue? Well, here's the upside. Without me taking a cut from your commission, you'll earn more.
Seriously? Can someone explain what's going on here?
You really are a one-trick pony, you know.
Are we sure Yehoda's alright? She looked totally crushed just now.
She'll be fine, she's just in shock. But one thing's for sure, the Curatorium's professional standards are beyond question. The fact that she only requested 1 day to prepare says it all. As an apology, I'll ask my animal friends to help her out more often in the future. Also, thank you for being honest with me. It means a lot. Was it really, though? As far as I see it, trusting, but the truth is, we all make mistakes every now. So, in return for yours,
Oh? What is it?
perhaps it is something best said under the moon's gentle light. Would the two of you meet me on Hisi Island tonight?
Oh, it does sound important. You're right. There's too many people here. Somewhere quieter makes a lot more sense.
Thank you both for understanding. Then let us meet beneath the moonlight.
I'm not the friend to come to for words of comfort or encouragement. But when it comes to weighing the costs of your actions, ask away. Here's how I allocate my energy on a job. 70% goes to investigating, 10% to making a final decision, and the remainder for execution.
It's about time, and the moon's already up. Let's head over to the place we agreed to meet Lauma.
I'm not the friend to come to for words of comfort or encouragement. But when it comes to weighing the costs of your actions, ask away. Here's how I allocate my energy on a job. 70% goes to investigating, 10% to making a final decision, and the remainder for execution. I'm not the friend to come to for words of comfort or encouragement. But when it comes to weighing the costs of your actions, ask away. Hao loves being antagonistic. Just ignore him when he's mouthing off. Don't let him get under your skin.
I dare you to release me and say that to my face!
I'm not the friend to come to for words of comfort or encouragement. But when it comes to weighing the costs of your actions, ask away. Here's how I allocate my energy on a job. 70% goes to investigating, 10% to making a final decision, and the remainder for execution. Hal loves being antagonistic. Just ignore him when he's mouthing off. Don't let him get under your skin.
I dare you to release me and say that to my face!
Llama, we're here! Huh? Llama, are you praying?
I am indeed. For the moment I was born, my people exclaimed, "Behold, eyes like the moonlit tide, antlers like the crescent moon, and blood that glimmers silver as the moon's reflection." From as far back as I can remember, I was revered as the Frost Moon's emissary and the Moontide Maiden. The first words I ever learned were prayers to the Frost Moon. The first gestures, those of our sacred rites.
Wow, that must have been...
Back then, I didn't know any better. It all just seemed so natural. The Frost Moon Scion's bloodline has long since begun to run thin. Nowadays, even those of us with antlers are few and far between, let alone those attuned to the power of Kuvaki. But I...
Antlers are so pretty.
They say it's an extraordinarily rare condition. Once in a century, if that. I am
Oh no! It was that serious?
To others, fluctuations in Kuvaki are something you easily get used to, like a gentle tide lapping away at the shore. But to me, that same tide is a towering tsunami, a surging swell crashing against me. Of course, as the years went by, I learned how to suppress my senses and my power, enough to keep it all from overwhelming me. But because of that, I also had to walk the path of concealment.
Concealment?
From the moment I was first taught to pray, my kin would point up to the night sky telling me, that Lauma is the frost moon, the last of the moons, the sole surviving truth. But I would ask them in response, why? Why can't I feel anything from it at all? Later, I came to understand that they simply could not tell where the real tide was coming from. They couldn't sense it. The true moon beyond the sky's veil. The moon is false. I reached that conclusion long ago. But there was no one I could tell. Not a single soul. At least, not until now. Am I the one who's wrong? Is it the moon that is false, or my own senses? I asked myself such questions time and time again.